My name is Kelvin Alexander from Borough President Eric Adams' office.
Okay, please respect the speaker.
It's okay. You have a right to free speech. I just want to let you know that the Borough President agrees with you. That the resolution that was passed. Wait, let me finish talking. I was at the meeting at Elisa Boyd's house. This is what he said. He said, I agree with you that the resolution that was passed the last time was not properly passed using the right process. Those are the exact words. And he said that he is going to decide, to make his decision based on what the people decide. And that between now and the end of October, he's going to be holding a series of community meetings where you all are invited and you're going to be able to let him know how you feel. He's going to make his decision based on that. Remember now, this is a new board. And why is it a new board? Because the borough president removed 18 members because of that very thing. They usurped the process.
So why the change?
He did say that.
Was apartheid.
Yes, he did.
He's still supporting it.
Yeah.
Yes, because they did not use the proper process in coming about with this resolution. That's what he said at the meeting, and those people who were there know it.
Yeah.
Yes, and he said that he's going to make his decision based on what the people say, and that's what you all say. So however you decide, that's how he's going to decide, okay?
We decided tonight.
Thank you.
Quiet,
We came here tonight to be able to try to clear the air in terms of like why we are where we are.
we know why we are where we are. Developers.
Okay, please everybody take a seat. You are in violation of the fire code. Meg Evans Collins has asked everyone to please take a seat and clear the aisles. We cannot begin until we actually do that. So please everyone take a seat. And that means everybody.
And this is straightforward.
Does everybody understand what the word everybody means? Everyone take a seat, please.
Said police from black people. Disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. We're going to jail. That's all. Who charge? The black people. Disorderly conduct and resisting arrest.
She'll take this
We got a lot of people standing in the back off to my left. Everybody, please take a seat.
I call a meeting after the fact, and I tell you that I'm corrected by one person.
Okay, well, everybody's still standing there. We're holding everyone else up, so please take a seat. Okay, I'm also talking to people in the front of the room. When I said everybody.
I'm going to climb about here. And you said, yes, I'm going and yes, I'm going and so, like, Clarence now, man. I said, no.
Okay, like I said, we got a couple of people not listening in the room. They're holding everybody else up. That's not freedom of speech. That's disrespectful. Everybody take a seat.
It's all right to sit down.
Can get dark board. You can't talk to people like that.
Now there are 15 people who respectfully called the office today to ask for a chance to speak. They're not going to get a chance to speak if you don't get under control here.
One person can decide for what. Get out of here.
Are we going to be responsible enough to be able to allow those bills to be
Meeting. I'm a meeting. Them votes already. The elected official have a jail for petty cash. While I'm gone, the borough president come down because you have a jail to run from the borough president. Get out of here. You think we don't know where I'm going? Get out of here.
Good evening, everyone. I would appreciate some respect for the folks that are going to come up and speak, which means please, everyone wants to be heard, but it's a little disingenuous to question a public process if you will not allow others to speak. Okay? Let's have a grand roll. Let's respect people that are going to speak. We have 15 names of people. I'm not going to say it again.
Oh, really?
You're elected official. You're elected official. Get them fundraiser. And the vote for you. Already. Hey, please. You think the children are there, so? Yeah, go look at that.
We're getting a little out of order. We're going to do a presentation first. Okay. I had hoped for better behavior from residents of our community. And this is about a public process and allowing all people to be heard, not just those with the green t-shirts. So I would appreciate if you would respect your neighbors and your other fellow community board residents. We're going to do a little presentation on process, and if we have to talk right over you, we will. Because there's other people.
Now, if you want to waste time, we can go ahead and do that. But you know what? I'd rather go into something else too. Right now, I'm trying to give you an explanation of how we got where we are. Would you prefer me not to do that? Because most people in this room do not know how we got where we are. There was a Euler meeting. 40 people attended it from all over community board now. We made a resolution that on March 17th, we had a meeting at Botanic Garden. We asked the community to come in. Over 200 people came to that meeting at Botanic Garden where we explained what we were trying to do.
No, it's already.
Ms. Miles says she would prefer to do the presentation, so please give her the same respect.
She sell out black people with her accent.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
My name is Pearl Miles.
Yeah.
I'm the district manager for Community Board 9. And I'm happy to explain what it is that we've done to this date.
What you do?
What you did?
There has been a lot of misinformation out in our community and a lot of other stuff that's been going on into the community. We felt that it was important that we get the correct information out to the community so that the community as a whole can make their own determinations regarding what we've done. The impetus for doing a visioning session on March 17th of 2014 was the fact that many different organizations and community residents were calling for rezoning, upzoning, downzoning, all sorts of zoning for their specific blocks or a few blocks in the areas that they live. There were many such voices that were asking for this. So instead of having separate meetings with each person that wanted to be heard about their issue, we decided to have a public forum for the entire community to come out and discuss what their concerns were. So we organized the forum on March 17th. We had it at the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens. and it was well attended. As many people as here tonight attended that meeting. That meeting we heard, we did not speak. The community board did not say anything about why we were there. We just said, this is your forum, you have the opportunity to speak. At that forum, people got up and they said how they felt. We had 2 scribes who wrote down what folks said on a big pad. We went back to our office and we typed that information.
You did it. You did it.
We typed that information and we made a summary of what people said at that forum.
Nobody said
And from that forum, we
and from that
forum,
Be respectful of the speaker, please.
Go ahead.
it was a matter of a zoning study on our agenda for a March 25th community board meeting. For that meeting, in my capacity as the district manager of the community board now for 29 years, I write everything for this board. Everything. That is my job and I do it and I do it well. Back to what else happened. So from that summary, I put together a resolution based on what the people said at that forum. The resolution was distributed throughout this community. To read what was said, what was summarized, and what was put into the resolution. That resolution was approved by the board, and they have the final say on anything that I write, and they approved it, and we sent it to city planning, and we requested a study of this district. We did not request a study of the entire boulevard. We requested a study of this entire district. So get your facts straight. That's what
every tree from our wall. They want to take away every tree from your wall. That's what they want to do. They want to take away every tree from your wall.
Please respect the speaker.
Stay with me. For years, the time for you live. Time for you live.
The Department of Planning accepted our resolution asking for a study of our district, which is the word of the resolution, and they accepted it, and we started, the Department of Planning had 3 meetings at their offices downtown Brooklyn, to which a number of people in this room attended. At the last meeting of that series of meetings on the Department of City Planning advised us that due to budgetary constraints and staffing constraints, they could not study the entire district as we had requested. So at that meeting where people in this room were present, we identified a specific portion of the district for the study. Now, the next step in this process is that we come to a consensus that this is a portion of our district that we would like to be studied. That is where we are at right now, and not any of that other stuff out there. I repeat, we never asked for rezoning of entire boulevard. We asked for a study of our district, our entire district. Thank you very much.
Hey, one person will make decisions. Get over here and go ahead. One person can go see.
You're not going to let them talk. So when you talk,
I'm telling you, when come with that experience. That's the biggest way of getting.
Sir, are you done? I have a question, gentlemen and ladies. I have a question for you. As this gentleman stands up and gives you civil disobedience, he has a house to go to tonight. You guys are here because of your affordable housing. No, we don't. Shut down the meeting. You don't want to shut down this meeting.
Shut it down. Shut it down. Become elected officials shall pay. Shall one of them are going to jail. All our elected officials there. The black one them too. Send them out.
What a community leader who lives in
The black elected officials, send them out.
Let the speaker talk, please.
From Albany to City Hall. Let's send them out. All of the black elected officials send them out. From Albany to City Hall. Them send them out. The whole of them are
Let
got jail.
the speaker talk, please.
Most of you probably know me as a member of Prospect Park East Network, and one of the people who's been opposing the 23-story luxury tower at 626 Flatbush. I just want to say something about why I think this rezoning discussion is so important. All over the city, we have groups of people who are rejecting the idea that it makes sense.
That's why you see. What you talking? Them vote on it already. Them vote on it already. She not talk nothing. You don't understand?
All over the city, we have groups of people who are rejecting the idea that it makes sense to plop down a huge building that's 2 or 3 times the height of your building right next to you. It doesn't matter whether you live in a 15-story public housing project and you don't want a 30-story tower taking up your parking space and your open space and your sunshine, or whether you live in a 2-story townhouse and you're upset about a 7-story or a 23-story building in your backyard.
That's right.
Even if the zoning law allows it, people don't believe that as a right means right. We feel that we're being asked to give up fundamental rights to the developers of these new buildings, and it's frankly insulting to be told that we should be happy to trade these rights for better retail or new restaurants. What kind of a girl do you think our neighborhood is? The kind that dates rich jerks for the price of dinner? Luxury developments are going to lower crime or bring better services. These developers are only interested in building our neighborhoods now that crime in the city is at a historic low because you, the residents, spent years beating back the urban blight. We pay our property taxes, so we deserve services from the city. New construction in this district doesn't pay any property taxes because of the 421A abatement. Running a business out of his apartment where he bangs on the wall all day or blows contaminated dust into the corridors and can sue your landlord and withhold rent. Why don't major construction sites have to obey the same rules as everyone else?
Yes.
Let's get real. Construction has environmental costs, and it's insulting to your neighbors to tell them that they're being selfish NIMBYs because some luxury project is providing lottery tickets for affordable housing that's already been paid for by our tax dollars.
Yes.
$15 per hour when the developer is making well over $2 million a year in profit.
I don't need the politician them.
626
The politician them I get them caught.
Sugi, you have 3 minutes.
The problem is that the developers aren't playing by the same rules as everyone else. How can we change that? Well, as you know, PPEN is suing Hudson. Transparency and accountability in the way that government funds are given out is one piece of the puzzle. Changing state law and the 421A and red regulations is important. And zoning is important too, because if we can set the rules as other districts have done to make sure that each time someone wants to build, they have to come to us for permission, then we have the bargaining power we need to ask what our neighborhood wants and needs at that time, and we retain the right to say when enough is enough. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to say something, no disrespect, Wayne, just so that there's organization. So the one thing she left with is that she would like the community to have a say-so before these buildings are able to build. So what we need to do to make this meeting productive, that point needs to be written down. So who's taking minutes? No, they're recording it. So whoever in the audience, let's write that. That's one thing we all want, is for us to be able to decide.
Barnabas Wolf.
She's going to pass treasure around the fire.
Barnabas Wolf here.
We're both 9-5.
The next speaker, we're waiting.
Elizabeth Mackin here.
Shut up.
Gives Ms. Mackin a chance to have her say, please.
Yeah, take it away. I didn't mean to where you go. If you tell a top politician you can't find funds another year.
My name is Elizabeth Mackin, and I am not a public speaker. I'm a very shy person. I just want to say, I've been living in this community. I came to this community because I walked around and I loved it. I loved it as it is, and I'd like to see as many of the people who have been living here and making this community great protected. I'd like to see people able to stay if they want to. The current resolution, thank you. The current resolution does not protect us. Communities on the Upper West Side, before anything goes to study, they're making specific requests down to the measurements of what they want. Our community can do that too. We have to ask to have the situation studied exactly as we want it. Otherwise, we're essentially giving city planning and the mayor, who has the agenda of building 80,000 new affordable units. Now, if you multiply 80,000 by 5, you can figure out the number of total units that the mayor has to build. Those have to be built somewhere, and that's why after 5 years of asking to have this community rezoned, all of a sudden, the attention is on our community. Empire Boulevard offers larger lots than almost anywhere else in the city.
Let the speakers talk, please.
We can come together as a community and decide down to the measurements what we want. We can have stores that are 40 feet wide. We can ask for what we want, and that is what city planning will study. And that's the way that we need to do it if we want to protect ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, I want to remind the speakers again, we're at 3 minutes per speaker. The next speaker is Alicia Boyd.
This community board has been hiding behind all kinds of bullshit, okay? So they can get luxury development all up in our community. All up in our community. All up in our community.
They're fighting for the army too. The army, they're fighting for the army too. They're fighting for the army.
There are currently 5 requests online. We're asking them to find out, how did this resolution get passed? Who are the people who voted for it? Where are the minutes to that meeting? Nobody has given us that. And now Community Board 9 will have to address us in a court of law. Right here, you see these papers right here? These are letters and signatures. Over 4,000 people have said they do not want residential. We the people do not want residential or private protocol. We have spoken in these letters. You don't need another month for us to make that decision. We made that decision. And not one person has the right to make that decision for us. Not one elected official has the right to make that decision for us.
Not one person.
You tell these crooked politicians.
Yes, all of them. Every one of them. Every one of them.
No, and do this.
Every one of them.
That's my community. That's our community. Those are our backyards. That's our park. And let me tell you something. You tell your developers. You tell them. This black community is not for sale.
President Edwards here? President Edwards here? Brenda Edwards?
While we're waiting for the next speaker to come up, I wanted to,
Let's calm it down, please.
while we're waiting for the next speaker to come up,
Jay Soren.
is Brenda Edwards here? Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brenda Edwards. I just want to read a statement. I'm glad to see so many people here. I lived in Crown Heights, and now I live in here.
Hold the mic close to you.
Hold it up, okay? All right. Here. Okay, I really should be used to this because, I've been a teacher at Erasmus in the public school system for 30 years. I am used to talking to those people, but I would appreciate if you would just listen, because I do want to work together with everyone in the room, even if we disagree. Okay, that's how I've managed to stay in the public school system where no one wanted to be for 30 years. I appreciate you just listening. Okay, to the Community Board 9, I'm going to try to be real quick. Rezoning is currently on the table in the area covered by CB9. Part of this area is known as Prospect Lefferts Garden. This is our neighborhood. Here are Prospect Park East Network's comments on the issues related to rezoning as it pertains to our neighborhood, the boundaries of which are Empire Boulevard south to Clarkson Avenue and Ocean Avenue east to New York Avenue. P-PEN is a group of concerned neighborhood residents who formed more than a year ago, both to oppose the construction of a 23-story tower at 626 Flatbush Avenue, and more broadly, to address larger concerns related in our neighborhood. These concerns include the urgent and long overdue need for contextual rezoning throughout Prospect Lefferts Garden, both in terms of maintaining buildings' heights and their density, and the need for impact studies
of a new residential or commercial development on subways, schools, affordable and low-income housing, sanitation, traffic, parking, socioeconomic diversity, and Prospect Park itself. We urge that CB9 emphasize these wider issues in a summary proposed to the Department of City Planning. Furthermore, we urge that in planning for new construction and affordable housing, CB9 keep in mind the following facts and statistics. 89% of our housing stocks is rent stabilized. Median incomes are only $40,000 per year, if that much, well below the citywide median. Parts of PLG are among the densest in Brooklyn and in the entire city. Building heights are almost exclusively 2 to 4 story houses and 3 to 6 story apartment buildings. Therefore, we believe that CB9's priority, as it has to do with our neighborhood, should be to protect existing affordable rent-stabilized housing. Any new development needs to be responsible, let me repeat that, responsible development that does not lead to the displacement of people already living here due to the ripple effect of rising rents. Finally, we remind CB9 that the situation of the corridor that includes Ocean Avenue, Flatbush Avenues, and Clarkson Avenue from Parkside Avenue, north to the end of Ocean Avenue where it meets Flatbush Avenue, the area that includes 626 Flatbush Avenue, which initially led to the formation of P-Pen, remains unsettled. While the judge ruled against us at the initial level, we have appealed our lawsuit, and we expect our appeal to be heard next month by the court. But beyond this one building at 626 Flatbush Avenue, the fate of the entire corridor remains unsettled. Since developers have been eyeing this area, because of this, we earnestly request that you give the contextual zoning of the corridor very high priority. We believe that contextual zoning is important as a general principle, transcending our particular neighborhood. Therefore, we support other groups in 4 quadrants covered by CB9 in their efforts to obtain contextual zoning heights limits in their neighborhood. In addition, we also support the following principles of CB9. Rezoning to protect...
Okay, wait a minute, we have 3 minutes.
That's my time.
You have no respect, Uncle Tom. Shut up, Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom, shut up.
That's my time.
Uncle Tom, shut up. Shut up, Uncle Tom.
Thank you very much. Tim Thomas.
You know the reach, yeah?
Tim Thomas.
Uncle Tom, shut up.
Howdy everybody, I'm Tim Thomas. I have lived a dozen years on Clarkson between Flatbush and Bedford. I'm going to do this quickly. I'm a member of Community Board, and I write a local blog about the neighborhood called the Q at Parkside. Since early last year, 2013, I've had a view on the process that we're discussing tonight. I have to say I agree. I think that we probably moved this resolution too quickly, but I would like you to come up and see this resolution. There's really nothing in it that specifies what exactly should happen.
it. Oh, yes, it does.
If you want, listen, we can have this conversation later. Just let me speak. At the most recent official zoning session.
You want to
Speak, please.
But we are keeping it diverse. Get out of here.
I'm gonna switch it up for a second because I don't need to insult your intelligence by telling you what's already happening.
You don't know enough about it.
The district manager, Pearl Miles, has long served this neighborhood to the best of her ability. I have known her for 5 years, and she served with exceptional skill. In her captain seat, and sometimes as the only board member willing to put pen to paper, she compiled a list of issues based on a meeting that no one.
Let's be respectful of the speaker. Let him speak, please.
I have a resolution here if you'd like to see it. I want to remind you, okay, a lot of the earlier speakers alluded to zoning that they want.
You know when you got some cracking at the community and much of the community?
There are people who
native when crackers selling in the community to black people, to destroy them. 22,000 children in our shelter tonight. 22,000 children in our shelter tonight. And you know something? You know what you want to work 2 jobs and can't pay rent? How much money I work 2 jobs and can't pay rent? You don't know? You're talking. Get out of here.
There are people who disagree on this issue and care about it. I want to remind you, if you say no to zoning, you are also saying no to the only kind of affordable housing this administration. Make sure you do if you're going to say no to any residential, no matter how tall, you're saying no to every potential affordable apartments, by the way, are 50% of median. That means somebody making $23,500. I have a friend who just got one and is thrilled. That's the kind of buildings we want to build. The mayor, the VP, and the council are those that we need to work with to get what we want in this neighborhood. If we continue to shut it down, I'll tell you exactly what we get. More storage marts and more fast food restaurants on Empire. Why not try and get a historic district for that? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Court proceeding against the community board and its members for violation of the state charter and any other laws that govern the community boards in New York City. We already, on behalf of the community, requested an investigation to the Department of on Pearl Myers, the creation of this resolution. Community board passing of this resolution and its continued support of it. As stated by District Leader Davis, we are demanding that our local officials meet with the various organizations and groups, bring a delegation to the mayor's office concerning the preserving of our affordable community. If our local representatives continue to ignore us, we will direct our attention to requesting the removal of these individuals. If we lose our home, you will lose your job. Lastly, we do not want residential on Empire Boulevard, nor do we want an increase in the density of our community. We want the right to downzone our community as afforded to other middle-class communities surrounding Prospect Park, to preserve and protect our homes, our community, and the people that live here.
Thank you.
Are you taking now?
Celeste Lacey Davis.
Celeste.
Thank you. Thanks for coming up.
Why do we need lawsuits to get you to listen?
Yes.
I heard a lot of people tonight say it's our community, and that is true. It's my community. It's your community. There is no one community here that is identified by a single block or a single area. I happen to live on Ocean Avenue between Lincoln Road and Parkside. And in 2007, one of my neighbors sold his house to a developer, and they knocked it down, and they put up a luxury condo building. Then we got calls from other developers that wanted to try to talk the homeowners on Ocean into giving away their houses so that they could construct more condos. And at that time, we thought that the only way that we could fight it would be to landmark those properties. But we also realized
that landmarking would not be enough. That those little row of houses on Ocean Avenue was just a part of it, but that we had an entire block of other buildings which developers could come in and buy and just wreck and do all kinds of things with. So we knew then that we needed to get rezoning in the community to protect it. We put through an application, CB9, passed it on to DCP, and then DCP sat on it, and we never got it. That is how this many years later, we've ended up as a community unprotected, and on the map and to be targeted for reckless canyons of high-rises of luxury that's going to displace all of us. I gotta be honest, because I live on Ocean Avenue, and because there's a tower going up, my immediate concern in my community was, we want that corridor down zone. I had not thought, honestly, about what was going to happen on Empire Boulevard, on Nostrand Avenue, on New York Avenue, on Rogers, or any other thoroughfare. I was only looking at where I lived. But as we got into this process, I'm with the Prospect Park East Network, as we got into this process, we understood that what you do in one place is going to... I know I'm going past the time. The only thing that I wanted to get up and say is, we have to talk to each other. We have to be community. The politicians have sold us out. We're still in the fight in the courts. So the only thing that we have left is community. People, let's talk to each other. Let's work through the disagreements, and then let's unify. Tell them, hell no, no reckless development in city community district 9.
Mr. Betts in the room? Cheryl Seeley here?
Yes, ma'am.
James coming, okay, sorry.
Ward 9 and Ward 17. Yeah. I only use about affordable house in there. No income house, no one affordable house.
Good evening, my name is James Betts. I live on Lincoln Road between Bedford and Martins Avenues. I'm rather awestruck by the speakers tonight, and so I feel like I'm already overshadowed by what they've said. So I have a little bit of a soft approach here. This neighborhood is the heart of Brooklyn, and I would like us to remember the word heart. It's a thriving area of diversity, housing people from many cities, states, and countries. People from many different backgrounds who share a wonderful neighborhood and appreciate our tree-lined, greenest block streets, our parks and gardens, our museum, our library, the variety of architecture found here, and the incredible mix of shops, businesses, and entrepreneurs. When my family and I moved here 25 years ago, it was this diversity that attracted us, as well as the wonderful housing stock that was affordable to two people who were working in schools. In fact, this neighborhood has always been an area that has been available to middle-class working people. That's the way it was designed. Just a minute, I've just stick a page here. Okay, now we are faced with the prospect of all this being lost by development of high-rise buildings along Empire Boulevard and other sections of our neighborhood. There is a desire to erect boxy, glamorous, neo-penal styled buildings What will this do? Well, rents will go up. Where will the people displaced by these increases go? We are told that these buildings will have a certain number of affordable units. Well, what does that mean? To whom will they be affordable? Not to working class people. And will these buildings have poor doors like some of the more recently built structures in other parts of the city? Our residents will be displaced. That's right. And what about the auto traffic from these developments? Where will the cars be parked? What about public transportation? Our present public transportation infrastructure is barely equipped to handle the present population. There are those who might say that if you are against this development, you are against progress. That is not the case at all. What we have now is progress. What we are looking at is a return to a rigidly segregated caste system based on money. Where buildings are built and owned by corporations who will not be putting their profits back into our community. This is not progress at all, but the redevelopment of a feudal system. I urge this community board to rescind this and to serve the interests of the people and to put the heart back in the heart of Brooklyn. Thank you.
My name is Cheryl Seeley. I'm a member of the Peace Network. Can you hear me now? My name is Cheryl Seeley. I'm a member of the Peace Network. Most of you know it's PPAC. I'm also a member of the Communications Workers of America. What's the mantra that we continuously say? In unity there is strength. In this community, if we don't get together and talk and listen to each other, we will not get a damn thing. Now, we all have different opinions. Doesn't matter. I'm a homeowner. My daughter is a renter. Doesn't matter. We have to sit down and talk to each other.
To whom?
We can't hear each other if we're yelling at each other.
Yeah, but to whom?
We may even disagree with each other.
To whom?
But it's time for us.
Official make decision.
It's time for us to sit down.
You elected official make decision and it's done already.
Thank you.
Elected official, fundraiser. And developer. Just him sign off on it.
Dr. Tolbert here.
Good evening. I'm actually going to cede some of my time to the board so that they can actually read the resolution, because I would love to hear exactly what it says. The other thing that I would like to do is just contextualize some of the strife that we hear tonight in this community. I live on Lincoln Road between Bedford and Rogers, and I've been a member of this community for 11 years. And I was a refugee from the East Village, and did this exact same thing 12 years ago as they rezoned the East Village, and now you can't recognize the landscape anymore. So I know exactly when it starts and how it just keeps on going if you don't hear the voice of the community. So I really appreciate the people like Alicia who have been out there and really getting that I am a proponent of smart development. I am a proponent for contextualized development and for having the community voice in this whole process, and that we are thinking about those concerns such as infrastructure while we're thinking about these things. Because when they developed Fourth Avenue, they did not think about schools, they did not think about the train, they did not think about any of those things, and the schools are overrun. The trains, you have to wait 2 and 3 times before getting on the train, and we do not want that kind of thing happening here. And so, when we see the rough edges of development come into our neighborhood, and the strife that you hear here tonight is because, housing is a human right, and it's not just having a roof over your head, it's also about having safe and secure roofs over your head, and not everybody in this community has always had that. And so it's really important to think about this displacement that's going to be taking place, because there will be displacement. I am a homeowner. I am not going to necessarily be displaced, but we chose to be here for this community. We chose to come to this community because of the people who are here. And so, if somebody could just read the resolution, I would like to cede any more time to that, okay?
Thank you, Madam President. Daniel Garwood.
She's the one that wrote it up.
Read the resolution!
Daniel Garwood will come back to the resolution. Let's let the speakers finish speaking.
They're finished. They're finished.
If two people ask to be able to speak tonight, you're not giving them a chance to speak.
We're finished. Uncle Tom, you have the mic. Talk.
For the resolution to be in context, I need to read also what the comments that were made at the forum on the 17th. The resolution was developed as a result of that forum. The resolution did not come out of thin air. Okay, these are comments from people living in Eastern Parkway in the north, Empire Boulevard in the south, Washington Avenue to the west, and Notion Avenue to the east. We want affordable housing and classical architecture preserved. We don't want another Williamsburg. We don't want another 4th Avenue. We don't want to live in Manhattan. This is Brooklyn. No people being forced out of their homes. We should limit storage facilities. You need storage facilities? We got those on Empire Boulevard. We're not looking to see a number of towers popping up all over. Two locations that need to be looked at carefully, the Union Bedford Armory and Franklin Avenue south of Eastern Parkway. We like down zoning, so there are no 25-story buildings towering over 2-story buildings. Carefully planned expansion is okay. Diversified commercial strips. We need new affordable rents and affordable home ownership mechanisms like Mitchell Lama. Focus new development around subway stations. In section B, bounded by Eastern Parkway in the north, Empire Boulevard to the south, Nostrand Avenue to the west, and Rochester and East New York to the east. We need better retail along Empire Boulevard. Fast food factories and traffic are problematic. It is dark and discourages foot traffic. We need more people on Empire Boulevard, more housing on Empire Boulevard, so that there will be more people, more life there. 10 years from now, I'd like my kids to feel safe as they're walking back from Prospect Park on Empire Boulevard late at night. Empire is a boulevard, let it be a boulevard. New traffic signal at Kingston and Eastern Parkway is good. Also need an elevator for access to the subway for families and the disabled. Parking is very tight. We should avoid people parking in the neighborhood to travel into Manhattan and prevent people from converting yards to parking spots. Landmarking should protect us. R2, R4 designations are not meant for attached homes. 3 minutes. It means you guys are forced to kick out long-standing tenants and can't expand their spaces to accommodate family members. We need to think about parking and congestion when we think about rezoning. We don't need grocery stores. We don't need more grocery stores. Property, this is necessary. We need to maintain the character of the neighborhood. Bounded by the Tower in the north, Clarkson Avenue in the south, Ocean Avenue in the west, and Nostrand Avenue in the east. There are benefits and costs to zoning. Landmarking protects on reading. Landmarking protects against eminent domain, but also raises rents and property taxes. We are not the city. We should preserve the low-rise character of Brooklyn. Our area doesn't have generational homes designed for multiple generations to live together. It would change the character of the neighborhood to allow it, but it is not as bad as allowing high-rises. We don't want skyscrapers, but incremental zoning changes in our two areas might be okay. The development of high-rise luxury apartments on Flatbush Avenue has created a zoning emergency. We have to maintain the delicate economic diversity that the neighborhood has and maintain affordable housing. R71 and R6 is non-contextual zoning and encourages the towers we don't want. Preventing non-contextual zoning is urgent. Landmarking might be a good protection for R6 areas. We need to look at the impact of large construction projects in the area, rates, energy shortage, noise, exhaust, parking space, congestion, public health, safety. How do we mitigate these impacts? What can we ask city government and developers to do to help? Services are already insufficient on cinema. Example, basic cable internet. How will they be available to a large influx of newcomers? The planned new building on Flatbush Avenue is unacceptable because it pollutes the park. A height limit is necessary. The character of the neighborhood is clear. Flatbush Avenue, with the exception of patio gardens, is a 67-story pre-war building area and non-conventional. R71 zoning is not appropriate. We should maintain the current prevailing character. Ocean Flatbush is dense and affordable. That's what we want. Luxury high-rises are unacceptable. Taxpayer money for outside investors to build luxury housing without consent. We should maintain the low-rise building sense of community, family dwelling, and the permanency of residents in the neighborhood. The luxury apartment rentals of accounting for a studio are designed to attract people who will stay for just a few years. We don't want that. We want mixing of cultures, not dominating gentrifiers. Our plan is to promote that. We don't want to end up in a Harlem where building on 110th Street has led to massive displacement of minority-owned businesses. We can't wait for the whole district to be resolved. We need the high-rises stop. We need the secondary displacement of affordable housing in the buildings around the high-rises stop. We are the only area around the park that hasn't been done. That's unfair. We need community organizing. We want a mixed-race, community-oriented population. Residential overcrowding prevents healthy development in kids. Concerned about the water, the wear and tear and sewer system infrastructure. Both in our neighborhood have been sold on Garden Store because of perceived risk. We need to plan out how to utilize schools have schools, stores, infrastructure, and plans for additional schools. Families on Nostrand Avenue are being unfairly pushed out of their homes by greedy investors rising rent on property. Vacant buildings blocked from Nostrand Avenue provide opportunities for business. You should be realistic and not by progress. On the future of the That's all of the views that were expressed at our forum. Now I will read the resolution. Resolution for the Community Board 9 calling upon the New York City Department of City Planning to immediately begin a study of Community District 9 Brooklyn, focusing on the specific issues raised at the listening forum held on Monday, March 17, 2014. Whereas Community District 9 is comprised of the distinct neighborhoods of Southtown Heights, northern parts of Flatbush, Prospect Lethbridge Gardens, and Wingate, and is bordered by the historic landmarks of Prospect Park and Eastern Parkway. And whereas Community District 9 boasts such prestigious cultural institutions as the Brooklyn Museum, the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens, and the Brooklyn Public Library, and such notable medical institutions as Kings County Hospital Center and #1 Trauma Center, SUNY Health Science Center, Psychiatric Center, and the Kingsbrook Jewish Medical Center. And whereas Community District 9 is a unique blend of people of American, Caribbean, European, Asian, and Hispanic descent, and families have thrived in Community District 9 for generations, living along our tree-lined streets and enjoying the beauty and nuances of the neighborhood. And whereas the existing zoning designations and prevailing land uses does not provide nor address all of the needs of the community, and whereas Community Board 9 held a forum at the Brooklyn Botanic Garden on Monday, March 17, 2014, where residents of the community expressed various concerns, a summary of which is as follows. 1. Preserve the existing character of the neighborhood. Prevent, limit out of context, i.e. high-rise developments in the R71 zone areas of the district. Make provision for incremental expansion of homes in R2 and R4 districts. Adjust current zoning designations to conform to prevailing uses and densities. Residential zoning designations mapped in Community District 9 often do not match the type of housing that exists. 3. Create opportunities for affordable housing. Make every provision to protect residents from displacements, example, anti-harassment areas and measures. Identify areas for inclusionary zoning. 4. Increase residential and retail density along transit and commercial corridors. Allow contextual mixed-use developments along commercial corridors, including Empire Boulevard. 5. Ensure that new development does not overwhelm existing infrastructure. Address parking shortages in congested areas. Address the need for improved sewer and water capacity. Be it therefore resolved that New York City Community Board 9, she printed them all, calls upon the Department of City Planning to immediately begin a study of this district to address the issues raised in the foregoing summary. And be it therefore resolved that
That's what you all are against. Yes. That document.
Be it further resolved that Community Board 9 stands ready to work with the Department of Planning.
If it wasn't so important, they would change it. Why would they change it? It's not important, then change it, goddammit! Rescind it!
Oh, shut up!
Speaker, speak, please. Speaker, proceed, please. I'm not going to get us be done if you don't be quiet.
And I moved to Lincoln Road in Leopard's Neck We came here to work in an affordable neighborhood. And what we saw is an extraordinary community of people in a low-rise, green part of the city. It was a community planted by hard work of generations before me. It is as diverse can be. Blacks, whites, young, old, middle class, poor, African Americans, Caribbean, Chinese, Irish, German, Jewish, Christian, Muslim. Unlike other areas of Brooklyn where you see a zone of African Americans, a zone of Jewish people, a zone of Italians, we have all of this on one block. Together as neighbors, we have rolled up our sleeves and won the greenest block of Brooklyn award twice. But even more amazing than that is the legacy of gentility and neighborliness here. People on my block look each other in the eye and say hello. Yes, Lefferts Manor is a true beacon of what America can be, a city on the hill for all to see. We want to preserve this remarkable community. Now, Community Board 9 has submitted a resolution to upzone Empire Boulevard without input from our community. This is a plan proposed by developers and moneyed interest. It's an age-old strategy to divide the community and conquer, and so far it's working. Half the neighbors think that a study's being done for contextual zoning of PLG, which will supposedly protect the neighborhood. Meanwhile, the developers are using this as a cover and are already planning tall buildings filled with expensive apartments. This process appears to have the rubber stamp of Eric Adams, our borough president, and Mayor de Blasio.
That's not true.
Tall buildings for affordable housing.
That's not true.
We know better. This has happened on 4th Avenue, Park Slope, in downtown Brooklyn and at the Atlantic Yards, where money is radically changing Brooklyn without the input of actual Brooklynites. Well, Community Board, we may not have the developers' money, but we do have the voice and the votes of the people. Overnight by a zoning change that will put millions of dollars in the pockets of few and sacrifice communities that have taken generations to build. Here's what we do want. We want the city to enforce the rent regulations that are already in place. We want height restrictions to maintain our sunlight and quality of life. And we want to keep the area around Prospect Park green. It is the one refuge that the people have from the concrete jungle. Tall buildings should be kept a long distance from the park so that Olmsted and Box's beautiful plan of stay intact. CB9, I join my multicolored, multi-age, multitasking neighbors in asking you not to destroy the fragile, affordable community that has brought us here in the first place.
We can go back over the resolution one more time, the second.
Give us a copy, give us a copy. No!
Okay, never mind. Let's go over
What do you think it is?
Okay, we're closing the business session. I'm sorry, we're moving on to the business session. The 2014 meeting, unfortunately, we do not have those because the change order was not turned on.
Of course you don't.
Okay, we have to call, yeah, well, now we'll call the roll. The secretary?
Conveniently, you don't have
Would all board members sign in tonight? If not, please come up to the front.
Pearl doesn't live in our neighborhood. That's right, Pearl doesn't live in our neighborhood.
Let's make them stay, please.
Accept that resolution.
Public session is now closed. Moving on to the business session. Fire, please.
Amy Albert. Patricia Baker.
Pearl, you got her right.
Stuart Albert.
Rescind.
Reverend Douglas Banks. Fred Baptiste. Simone Bennett.
Behind her house? No. Send the resolution.
Warren Burke. Augustine Blackwell. Reverend Phyllis Brown.
Send the resolution. Rescind.
Michael Sattel. Because we have a loud group tonight, we're going to ask you to come up to the mic to let us know that you're here. I have everybody that I've called so far up to Michael Satera. Everybody I've seen the way that they're here. Yes. So when I call your name, please come up to the mic and say that you're here. Or stand up and Demetrius Lawrence will acknowledge
Just stand up, please.
Vita Mae Clark. Josette Cucubio. Lori Cumbo. Oh, that's right.
Pearl have a high rise behind her house.
Eu não sei que
Pearl, do you have a high rise behind your house?
Milton Ellis. Oscar Golding. Rabbi Jacob Volsky. Rabbi Nakamura. Tessa Hackett-Vera. I'm here. Sylvia Hamilton Gonzalez. Aaron Hirschkopf. Laura Imperiali. Daniel Ingolstadt.
Why no politicians here tonight?
Johnson. Demetrius Lawrence. Avi Leches. Michael Liber.
Here.
Denise Mann.
it looks like it was in here. Carmen Martinez. Musa Moore. Patricia Moses. Beverly Newsom. Frank Nicholas. Lane Nicholson. Pia Raymond.
How you doing?
Lunella Roan Perry. Diana Richardson.
Alicia.
Roosevelt Rose. Kenya Solis. Rabbi Joseph Spielman. Ada Terry. Timothy Thomas. Jacqueline Wells. Evelyn Williams.
This many people look at me, say the board, sit in charge of my she rocks here, she rocks there.
Somebody from the board can stand up and make a motion and rescind that resolution. And vote on it right here, man. Just that I don't know if
41 members present, we have a quorum. Thank you very much to all the members who came out and stayed tonight. District manager report is next. 41 members present, we have a quorum.
Rescind the resolution! 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 Rescind the What are y'all voting on? The resolution? Well, we all want to go there.
So, good evening again, everyone. I'm not going to do a report. I'm just going to say that I'm happy that we're in session again for the 2014-2015 year of the board. I look forward to working with everyone. Those who like
Everyone, somebody from the community. Everyone, somebody from the community. Everyone, somebody from the community. Everyone, somebody from the community.
We have a couple of committee reports. Economic Development Leave it at this one? Okay, thank you.
Everybody else is 17 flyers. It's fashionable. It's trendy. Even better, stickers, they're colors, they're stickers.
Okay, committee reports are now complete. Chairman's report. Is everybody aware of the affordable housing seminar coming up Thursday, November 13th?
Where?
Okay, Representative Mosley is here. I don't know if he wants to kind of speak about that. No, but that's the time. Thank you. November 13th, Hanson Place, Seventh-day Adventist Church, 88 Hanson Place. If you want to participate, please make sure you RSVP Councilwoman Cumbo or Senator Mosley's office. The last affordable housing seminar that was done, 1,500 people showed up. They were only expecting 200, so if you wanted to participate, you have to make sure you better call for RSVP. Councilwoman Como's office, if anyone wants to talk about, or even I will, the third Tuesday of every month, from 10 to 1 o'clock, they're going to be talking about the community's concerns. Anybody who has concerns for the community, please come to the Community Board 9 office. Third Tuesday of every month, it's being sponsored by Councilwoman Como's office. Neighborhood Housing Services is having walk-in Wednesdays, if anybody interested in single home. Next one will be tomorrow between 10 and 2 p.m. It's walk-in Wednesdays, everyone's able to turn, everyone's able to come in. First come, first served basis. That's all I have for the meeting for tonight. Is there any other new business, old business? Old business? Okay, Baptiste.
Good evening, everyone. I think it's very important that we understand that this is very important that we have this dialogue this evening. I want to say that it's important that as a community we understand we will not find a perfect solution. And I think the board members understood that as well. But with that being said as well, and I believe I am on the record as saying, I think that our conversation was rushed. And I believe that while we did have a listening forum in which we heard from community members, the fact that we have this many community members on this side talking about how it was premature is something that cannot be ignored as well.
That's right.
With that being said, I hope that the community understands that we may very well come back to this, but I think at the end of the day, we have to understand that process is important. And that we need to make sure that people are engaged, that people are involved, that voices are heard. But at the same time, be realistic in terms of we don't necessarily get everything we want. But with respect to that, we need to get the process right. So I move that we rescind the resolution.
Somebody second it! We the people second it! Everybody second it! We the people!
Please, make sure we get this proper wording. Could you please repeat your resolution?
I move that Community Board 9 rescind the resolution and refer the matter back to the Land Use Committee for reconsideration.
My name is Pastor Banks. I second that motion.
That CB9 rescind resolution and send it back to the committee.
Your Honor, Madam Chair.
We have a second on the floor. We're going to open it up now. The first person to be able to speak has got to be Mr. Baptiste.
I did it.
briefly. I mean, I think I said it in my comments. It's a matter of the process does matter. In terms of, this is a dialogue that's been going on for a long time, but the fact that we have as many people here discussing this, the community that we're supposed to be representing, I think that it's important that we make sure we get this right. Understanding it's not going to be perfect. Everyone's not going to walk out of here happy at the end of the day. But at least everyone needs to have confidence in this process, because otherwise it really jeopardizes all the work we do as a community.
That's right.
I agree with that. I also want to make sure that we have a process going forward for how we go about this. So I think it's important that we also focus on the second half of what the chair just said, which is that we need this to go back to the ULURP committee so that there can be more discussion. I'd also note that in speaking with folks here tonight, what I've learned is that without a consensus about what we want to do, we're not going to be able to be prioritized above other communities to stop the kind of stuff that you guys are all concerned about. So if we want folks in government to take us seriously, we need to make sure that we're able to demonstrate at the end of this process that we have a consensus. So I'm asking that folks agree that the next step is a ULURP process, is to go back to the ULURP process, and that be part of the resolution, that we actually all agree that we're going to go forward with that. And I'm speaking not just to the people who are on the board, but also to folks in the community. We need to have a consensus as a community. I'm supporting this because I understand how upset people are. I also want to make sure that we don't have a 23-story building going in next to the one on Fenimore Street. I live on Hawthorne. My little boy is not going to be able to see the park. My little boy is not going to be able to continue to live in this community because we're not going to be able to afford to stay.
Any other board members would like to speak? Anybody from CHCC or the other quadrants?
I would like to speak.
DPEN? Everybody from DPEN on the board would like to speak? Do you have anybody from Dodgetown board would like to speak?
Okay, so I just wanted to say that I actually think this was a wonderful, I think it's powerful that people can still get together, okay? But I just want us to realize is how we get together. We don't want to lose the power we have, okay? Because this is power. But you have to be careful that you don't lose the attention of the people you want by behaving in such a way that no one takes you seriously. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I just want us to think about history here. We would have never gotten to where we are if we would have behaved in the nature that we have tonight. Now, yes, this is an emergency. This is an emergency that we are living in. And I wanted to correct someone. I'm actually a part of this neighborhood. This is affecting me also. This is affecting you. Okay? Nobody is outside of this. We are all being affected by this whole scenario. The last thing I want to say is so that you don't leave here thinking one thing and come back here next month on another note. Just now what happened was a motion was made to rescind. Correct? Yes. What we need to know now is it possible for this to be rescinded at this? Listen. Let's listen. Is this possible for this resolution to be rescinded? Who knows the answer? Yes. No, excuse me. I would think that you all deserve to have an intelligent response because you're wasting your time if you don't get the answer you want. All of this tonight was great.
Make a motion we reopen the debate because there are some people who are not clear on what we're voting on.
Excuse me, I'm making a motion to reopen the discussion for clarity. Excuse me, I'm a new board member. Can I just say one word while y'all yelling over there? First of all, I wasn't here for all of that, but I did read your minutes, and I did read where this board
voted that it did not go through the ULUP committee. So how are you going to send something back to them that didn't even go to them? And I read where someone says here, a ghosting says it does not have to go to the ULUP. It is not land use. And then someone asks why it goes on and on and on. And then the board votes, no, it does not need to go, and y'all went on. Now, I don't know what happened because I wasn't here, but how you going to send something back that wasn't there?
Like I said, now we need to call the roll. That's right, we're out of order. So we're right, we're going to call the roll.
They're so tricky. They're so used to tricks.
One second, what's that?
Let's get attention, please. Everybody understand what we're talking about. Let's talk about rescinding the resolution.
Right. Mr. Chairman, before we do the vote, may I speak, please?
I made a motion to second.
No, I'm just going to speak with clarity.
That's against the rule. You have to take a vote then.
May I speak after you take the vote? May I speak after you take the vote? Because I can't, my Robert said I can't do
Please. Let us take a roll.
Amy Albert. Patricia Baker. Stuart Valber.
Wait a minute.
You said reset.
Reverend Douglas Banks.
Yes.
Fred Baptiste.
Yes.
Simone Bennett. Warren Burke. Augustine Blackwell. Reverend Phyllis Brown. Michael Satera.
I don't hear him saying nothing.
Vita Mae Clark. Ben Edwards. Milton Ellis. Sheila Foster Golding.
Fell out.
Rabbi Jacob Goldstein. Tessa Hackett Vera. Sylvita Hamilton Gonzalez. Laura Imperiali. Daniel Ingolstadt. Louis Johnson.
Yes.
Demetrius Lawrence. Abby Letches. Michael Liber. Carmen Martinez.
Yes.
Yes.
Patricia Moses.
Yes.
Beverly Newsom. Frank Nicholson. Frank Nicholas.
Yes.
Dwayne Nicholson.
Rosemary Perry? No. Pia Raymond? Yes. Unella Roan Perry?
Yes.
Diana Richardson?
Yes.
Thank you. Roosevelt Rose? Kenya Solis?
Yes.
Yeah. Rabbi Joseph Spielman? No. Ada Terry? Timothy Thomas? Jacqueline Welch? Abstain. Evelyn Williams? Evelyn Williams?
Make sure she write down the right Somebody else can check it out. Somebody check it out. Somebody
Get behind her. She know how to count money. Living out in Long Island. That's right. That one in the white dress. Yeah, that one in the white dress. Yeah. All in the world. Yep. But she works for the construction. We need to take her off. Yeah, and the one in the blue.
No, I'm moving to her neighborhood. She don't have high rises behind her house.
Exactly. She ain't got high rises on her backyard. That's right.
We need a witness up there. Incredible one.
Going over again?
Give them 500 guys.
Great. Now, fight for your community.
What is your vote? Did you sign in, Ms. Straker?
No.
Wait. No.
Okay, what's your vote, Ms. Straker?
I know, it's not like it's bad.
She says yes. Vote tally is 16 yes, 9 no's, 8 abstentions. Thank everybody for coming. I'll make the motion for you. I have a second.
All I know is this.
A second.